Yes, my student, welcome in our Elimika questions review. It is a program by which we are responding to the questions that you forwarded to us through the contacts that we gave you. Well, I received a number of questions, but much of these, many of these questions can be answered by going into our YouTube channel, Elimika, and heavy listening again to the previous lessons. Then you will come to get the answers. Yeah, so the question that we are going to start with came from James Stephen. This is in Kagera. His question was that why do fatty or oily meals delay stomach emptying? Fatty, oily meals delay stomach emptying. Normally, the digestive system, apart from playing your other functions, it is performing. It is endocrine also. It secretes a number of hormones. And some of these hormones secreted include gastro-inhibitory peptide, or for short GIP, or it is referred to as enterogastrone. This hormone is secreted in response to partially digested fats or oils. And one of the functions of this hormone is to inhibit gastric peristalsis. I mean, muscular movement of the stomach, churning movements of the stomach walls, leading into formation of a chyme, which is periodically passed from the stomach to the duodenum. Now, because of the presence of these partially digested fats, there is a release of gastro-inhibitory peptide, which one of its functions is to inhibit the movement of the stomach walls, so that these movements can result into pouring of the chyme into the duodenum. Therefore, it is because of the presence of fats, gastro-inhibitory peptide is released, and this inhibits movement of the stomach walls. This is explaining why fatty oils or fatty or oily meals delay stomach emptying. But also, there was another question. This wanted to know the adaptations of the epithelial tissue of the ileum that make it efficient in absorption. Adaptations of epithelial tissue of ileum which make it efficient for absorption. I said that one, the ileum is adapted for absorption because it has large surface area. But also, the cells that form the epithelial lining of the ileum they have thin membranes to facilitate is the diffusion of the food to reduce the distance across which the food solution, food molecules from the lumen of the ileum into the blood is made easy. But also, if you remember, we drew an absorptive cell from the part of the ileum. This had finger-like projections and other projections that form a brush border formed by villi. And these finger-like projections increase the surface area for absorption. But also we said that absorption takes place by diffusion. But since this diffusion is very slow, and even the amount of food taken in may be very small, and therefore to have a large amount of food, a larger quantity of food taken into the blood, we have to apply what we call active transport. And this active transport requires the use of energy. And this energy is supplied by ATP. ATP is the result of respiration. And therefore, we must have a large number of power plants, powerhouses of the cells, in the cells that form the epithelial lining of the ileum. So the cells in there have numerous mitochondria. Those are the adaptive features of the epithelium that form the ileum. But also, we have another question. This wanted to know the hormones associated with digestion. Hormones associated with digestion. Well, we said that the hormones that are associated with digestion include gastrin, which is secreted by the gastric mucosa, I mean the walls of the stomach. Its role is to stimulate the release of gastric juice. It will stimulate the release of gastric juice from the gastric glands. In connection to that, there was one friend of ours who failed to distinguish gastric mucosa from a gastric gland. A gastric mucosa, I did say that this is a stomach wall, the internal part of the stomach wall, which is overlaid by the mucus. This is what we call a gastric mucosa. Within this wall is where we have the glands, I mean the gastric glands, which are made up of different cells, including goblet cells that secrete mucus, oxyntic cells, we have the parietal cells that release HCl and the hormones. So there is a clear difference between gastric mucosa and the gastric gland. Apart from gastrin, another hormone is secretin. Another hormone is secretin. This is released by the intestinal mucosa. This, we said that it is stimulating the secretion of bicarbonate ions in the pancreas, mini pancreatic enzymes. But apart from that, we have CCK. In connecting to this, some friends of ours have been asked the long form of CCK. CCK stands for cholecytokinin. Cholecytokinin. cholecystokinin. I said that CCK or cholecystokinin alternatively is called pancreozymin. It is cholecystokinin, or it can be alternatively called pancreozymin. Or in the other books, it is referred to as a pancreomycin. So, in the pancreas, it is stimulating the release of enzyme-rich pancreatic juice, but also the same hormone stimulates contraction of the gallbladder so that it pours out its content, bile. But again, above here, we have seen the gastro-inhibitory peptide. The gastro-inhibitory peptide. Those are some of the hormones that are involved in the process of digestion. Apart from that, one has posed a question in need of knowing the difference that exists between intracellular and extracellular digestion. Intra and extracellular digestion. With the intracellular digestion, this is digestion within the body. Whereas extracellular digestion, this is digestion outside the body. For example, we have organisms like fungi, a mushroom, for example, growing on a substrate. This mushroom growing on a substratum, it will require to absorb nutrients from that particular substratum. How are those nutrients obtained? Automatically, it will release the enzymes externally. The enzymes will digest the food in the substratum. Then the fungus will take the nutrients after digestion outside the body. But also, one could go far and wanting to know these two types of digestion are carried out by enzymes. Now, what is intracellular and what are the extracellular enzymes? What are the intracellular and what are the extracellular enzymes? The intracellular digestion, I have said, takes place within the organism. Our types of digestion is intracellular. The fungal digestion, as I have said, for the case of a mushroom, as an example I have given, or milk or whatever, that is extracellular. But when we talk of the intracellular enzyme and the extracellular enzymes, the intracellular enzymes, these are enzymes which normally work within the cell. For example, we have respiratory enzymes. These are never getting out of the cell. They are working within the mitochondria. They are working within the cell. But extracellular enzymes, these are enzymes that work out of their cells. For example, our digestive enzymes are merely extracellular because they are not working within their cells of production, but rather they are poured outside in the alimentary canal where they come to work. That question had two parts. Apart from extracellular and intracellular digestion, he also wanted to know how rhythmic movements of large intestines may result into either diarrhea or constipation. I did explain this. And I said that the larger intestine, particularly the colon, has a function of absorbing water. and this water is absorbed from the undigested food remains. The process of peristalsis continues all the way along the alimentary canal. And in the large intestines, the colon moves rhythmically. Whereas this colon is moving rhythmically, the absorption of water from the fecal matter back into the body is taking place. Now, the amount of water absorbed from these wastes will depend on the speed with which the colon is moving. If this colon is moving slowly, the time for this matter to remain in that particular region will be long. And as the time is prolonged, much water is taken out of this matter. Consequently, this will produce a semi-dry product, and this will result into constipation. On the contrary, if their movements are fast, the time for this matter to stay in the colon will be very short, and therefore only a small amount of water will be taken out of it, and this will result into the production of a semi-liquid product, and this will result into diarrhea. Apart from that, this is the same question. Diamkama wanted to know what is CCK stands for. Another question is that the bile juice contains no enzymes, yet it is important in digestion. Why? Bile juice contains no enzyme, but yet it is important in digestion. The question wanted us to explain why is this so? Well, the action of bile on fats, the action of bile on lipids is not enzymic. But remember, this bile contains two important digestive materials, digestive components. One, it contains bile salts. I gave an example of sodium taurochlorates, potassium taurochlorates, sodium glycochlorates, and the potassium glycochlorates. The bile salts have the role of emulsifying fats, physically breaking down larger fatty molecules into smaller ones. And by this emulsification, they are lowering the surface tension of fats and increasing the surface area so that it becomes easier for the enzyme responsible for breaking down of lipids, lipids, to work. Apart from that, in the bile, we have mineral salts. And these mineral salts are exemplified by sodium bicarbonate. This sodium bicarbonate, apart from neutralizing the acidic chyme from the stomach, but also these mineral salts provide the best pH for proper working of the enzymes in the duodenum. One, containing the bile salts for emulsification of fats, but secondly, they have mineral salts that neutralize the acidic chyme from the stomach, but also providing the best pH for proper working of the enzymes in the duodenum. Well, my dear student, we have tried to respond to your questions. We have reminded you what you had forgotten, and we have given you maybe what you hadn't have got in the previous lessons. You may get more answers. Of course, they won't be aired. You may get them following us. You will get them at on our Instagram page. That is Elimika Darasa, and others will be you can use our YouTube channel. The answers will be there. We have come to an end of our program for today. Please continue sending your questions through normal SMS or WhatsApp SMS through our number 0769 048594. That is 0769 048594. Please send your questions tirelessly, and we respond to them as soon as we can. Until next time, my name is Fortunatus Kiobia. Bye-bye.